In today's video, we're covering US 91 and it shockingly actually has good control cities. US 91 is 172 miles long going through Utah and Idaho. When US 91 begins at I-15, it is signed for 2 US 89 and 1100 South. Now, despite what I said in the intro, this is probably the only control city that is actually bad. I digress, but anyways, Brigham City should probably be signed here. Here is where we meet US 89 and we're now concurrent with it. On the mileage sign right after that interchange, we're now signed for Monoway in 4 miles and Logan as our primary in 24 miles, which is really good. When we reach Logan, US 89 leaves the concurrency. In North Logan, we meet Utah 252 and we're now signed north for Smithfield and Preston is actually in Idaho, which is a good control city rather than just signing a suburb of Logan. When we meet Utah 218 in Smithfield, we're now solely signed north for Preston. We're now at the border and crossing into Idaho. In Preston, we meet Idaho 36 and are now concurrent with it signed for Pocatello and Soda Springs. Pocatello is for US 91 and Soda Springs is for Idaho 36. When Idaho 36 leaves us, the control cities are the exact same besides Idaho 36 now also being signed for Montpelier. On the mileage sign, Pocatello is our primary in 63 miles and Downey is our secondary in 26. We're now meeting I-15 again and we're now concurrent with it signed north for Arrowhead and Pocatello. While heading towards Pocatello, US 30 joins us and we're still signed for Pocatello and we're now also signed for Income. In Pocatello, we leave I-15 and we are now signed for 5th Avenue. Not long after that, US 30 leaves us signed west for 2 I-86 American Falls and Twin Falls and we're now signed for 2 I-15 Blackfoot and Idaho Falls. Shortly after that, we meet I-86 and we're now signed north for Chubbuck, which probably actually should have also been signed, but you know, it's okay. On the mileage sign in Chubbuck, Blackfoot becomes a secondary in 18 miles and Idaho Falls is the primary in 43, which is good because they could just sign Blackfoot, but Idaho Falls is signed instead. When we meet I-15 outside of Blackfoot, we're sensibly signed north for Blackfoot. In Blackfoot, we're now signed north for Idaho Falls again. When we reach Idaho Falls, we meet US 26 and US 91 gets an N sign. And when we turn around, we get a US 91 sign. Like the mileage sign with Idaho Falls as the bottom line in the Pocatello area, Pocatello is the bottom line in 49 miles with Blackfoot as the secondary in 23, which is fine for the same reasons as the other one in Pocatello. When we meet I-15 past Blackfoot, we're now signed south for Fort Hall, which is actually a good control city because you wouldn't sign Pocatello when you could just take I-15 down there instead. In Fort Hall, Pocatello is back to being the primary control city in 8 miles with Chubbuck as the secondary in 6. When we meet I-86, we're still assigned south for Pocatello. In Pocatello, we meet US 30 and are now concurrent with it signed for McCammon and Salt Lake City, which Salt Lake City is probably there only because of the I-15 interchange that's how that happened, but still, it's an amazing control city. US 30 and US 91 are now joining I-15, signed for the exact same control cities as earlier. When US 30 leaves us, it's signed east for McCammon, Soda Springs, and Montpelier. When US 91 leaves I-15, it is now signed south for Downey and Preston. On the mileage sign, Downey is the third line in 4 miles, Preston is the secondary in 31, and Logan's on the bottom line in 60, which is actually a really good control city, and Idaho isn't being provincial either. In Downey, we meet Idaho 40, and we get signed south for both Preston and Logan, which is also still really good. In Preston, we now are getting signed south for Franklin and Logan, and if 2 cities are getting signed, Salt Lake City should probably also be signed instead of Franklin, but you know, signing Logan is still good signage anyways. We are now crossing back into Utah. When we reach Logan, we meet US 89, and it's now concurrent with us. When we meet Utah 101, we're signed south for Brigham City, which I'm assuming is only signed because both highways go there and that's where they split, but I think Salt Lake City should also be signed as well. When US 89 leaves us, we're now signed for Tremonton, Salt Lake City, and Ogden, which are really good control cities. When US 91 ends at I-15 and I-84, they are signed for Ogden, Pocatello, and Twin Falls. The control cities are actually really good, but anyways, here's what they should be, even though it's the exact same thing. For Northbound, sign Brigham City first, don't sign nothing, then Logan, Preston, Pocatello, Chubbuck, Blackfoot, and Idaho Falls, and then for Southbound, it should be Blackfoot, then Fort Hall, then Pocatello, then Salt Lake City because of the I-15 concurrency, then Preston when you leave I-15, then Logan and Salt Lake City, don't co-sign Logan with Franklin, then Brigham City and Salt Lake City, don't sign Brigham City by itself, and then finally Salt Lake City and Ogden. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please subscribe. I also have more videos on my channel where I cover more US highways and also cover interstates and state highways, and I also look into and review control cities. Anyways, see you guys next time. Bye!